Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another very quick, easy keto donut recipe for you. Now, if you looked on my channel, you've probably seen that I do have a few other donut recipes, but this recipe is for keto donut twists. It's very simple, very easy, very delicious. And if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while you do all that, let's get cooking. In a large mixing bowl, combine 120 grams or about 1 cup of coconut flour, 15 grams or around 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 19 grams or around 1½ tablespoons of the brown sugar sweetener of your choice. I'm using brown monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever brown sugar sweetener you want. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your donuts. Add 75 grams or about 1/3 cup of the granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. Again, you can use whatever sweetener you want. And again, you can adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your donuts. Add 2 grams or around a 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. This is to give the dough some stretch so it's easier to shape your donuts. If you don't have xanthan gum or can't find it, you can use psyllium husk powder or flaxseed meal. It'll give you a little bit of a different texture than the xanthan gum will, but it will still be good and will still work in your recipe. And if you're sensitive to the taste of coconut flour, you can add some dry spices according to your taste if you want to do that to help counteract any coconut taste. Sift these all together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 3 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they stir in more smooth. Stir the eggs into the dry ingredients until fully combined and all the dry ingredients are moist. Add a 1/2 cup of butter that's been melted and cooled. Make sure it is cooled. You do not want to put hot butter in. Stir the butter into the ingredients until everything is fully combined. Add 123 grams or around a 1/2 cup of room temperature plain yogurt or sour cream. Make sure this is room temperature so you have a smoother dough. And 9 grams or around 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. You can adjust this more or less according to how much of a vanilla flavor you want in your donuts. Stir everything together until everything is fully combined. After it is fully combined, stir it together again for another 20 to 30 seconds or until you have a soft, smooth dough that is formed. Scrape down the sides of the bowl, push the dough to the center of the bowl, and shape it into a ball. Massage the ball for about 1 minute. This is to make sure that you have the right texture in your dough, and it's also to help absorb any extra moisture that might be in the dough. Your dough should be slightly moist, but it should not be sticking to your hands, and it should not be breaking off into chunks. If it's breaking off into chunks, then it's too dry and you need to add just a tiny bit more, either room temperature water or room temperature milk of your choice. After you've massaged the dough for 1 minute, form it back into a ball and place it back into your mixing bowl. Then allow the dough to sit for about 5 minutes at room temperature. This is to let all the ingredients settle in well so your dough sticks together well when you're shaping it. While it's sitting, preheat your air fryer to 350 degrees. If you don't have an air fryer, then preheat your oven to 350 degrees and line a large baking sheet. After your dough has sat for 5 minutes, then line a clean work surface with parchment paper. Scoop your dough out about a 1/4 cup at a time and roll it into a smooth ball. Then form the dough into a long log that's about 8 inches in length. Now you can shape these donuts into whatever size and whatever shape you want. If you don't want to make a twist and you just want to make a regular shaped donut, you can just shape it into a regular shaped donut or donut bar. That's up to you. Of course, for this recipe, we are going to make it into a twist. So in order to make it into a twist, after you've rolled it into a log that is roughly about 8 inches long, make sure the log is smooth. Make sure your dough stays smooth at all times. If there are any cracks after it's cooked, your donut's going to be cracked and has the risk of falling apart. So make sure your dough stays smooth at all times. Form the log into a U-type shape, then press the U shape together. Take one end of the dough and cross it over the other side of the dough. Then take the opposite side of the dough and cross it over the other side of the dough, kind of like you're forming a braid. Keep repeating and alternating sides of the dough until you reach the end of your dough. For me, it's just twisting around about twice. Once you've reached the end of the dough, then dampen your fingers a little bit with water, just a tiny bit, and seal the ends of the dough together so you have a smooth bottom of your donut. And again, reminder, make sure your dough stays smooth. If at any time you see that there's any cracks or anything forming in your dough, just dampen your fingers a little bit and rub the cracks out. Once your donuts are shaped in whatever shape and size you want them to be, lightly spray them with some cooking spray and use a brush to spread the cooking oil lightly over the donuts. Place the donuts in a single layer in your air fryer drawer. Make sure you leave space in between the donuts. These do expand a little bit. And air fry at 350 degrees for about 5 minutes or until the donuts are golden. If you're baking them, bake at 350 degrees for 17 to 20 minutes or until the donuts are golden. Once the donuts are done cooking, if you've air fried them, open your air fryer drawer and let them sit in the drawer for about 3 minutes so that they can firm up. Same thing if you've baked them after you've removed them from the oven. Let them sit on the pan for about 10 minutes or until they've firmed up enough to move them without them falling apart. While the donuts are firming up a little bit, place a clean piece of parchment paper underneath a wire rack. Then place the donuts after they're done cooking and firming up onto the wire rack. In a wide bowl, combine 75 grams or around 3/4 cup of the powdered sweetener of your choice. I'm using powdered monk fruit allulose blend. You can use whatever powdered sweetener you want. Then add 46 milliliters or around 3 tablespoons of the room temperature milk of your choice. Use a fork and stir the powdered sweetener and the milk together until it is smooth. If you need to, you can add a little bit more powdered sweetener until the glaze is your desired consistency. Place the donuts one at a time in the glaze. Then use a spoon and spoon the glaze over the donuts until the entire donut is covered with the glaze. Place the donuts back on the wire rack. Make sure that parchment paper is under the wire rack because this glaze will drip off a little bit. Then allow them to sit for around 10 to 15 minutes so the glaze can firm up a little bit. Once the glaze has firmed, you can eat these immediately. If you do have any leftovers, store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days. Eat and enjoy.
And that's a recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.